Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the economics of tournament bass fishing. Yesterday I did a video about the new Bassmaster Open changes for 2024 that included a slightly higher entry fee. So they increased about $200 per tournament, which, was the negative side of that. But they increased the exposure opportunities, more live coverage. They increased the payouts pretty dramatically. I haven't seen payouts in the Opens like this for years or maybe ever. And then they also increased the amount of spots that they're paying down to 45th place. They really have a pretty sweet payout for the top 10 in AOY, which is awesome. And so overall, really cool changes for 2024 in the Bassmaster Open. So I think they probably made those changes in part because of a lot of the volatility over on the MLF side and things like that. All the big changes that they're making and all that. So maybe they're making a play to kind of bring more of those anglers over to fish the EQs. I don't know, but either way, I'm excited about it. But yesterday in that video, I was talking about, how I made 5 checks this last year and made around $15,000. In fact, I just did the math and it was $16,107. And so a lot of people, rightfully so, commented that, obviously I'm not making a profit, off of what I did this year, even though it was a pretty good year cashing checks in the Opens. You cash 5 checks in the Opens, that's pretty solid because they're only paying the top 40. So out of 225, I think the least we had was 180. Finishing in the top 40 is not easy with that field. Because I got a lot of those comments and people were talking about, young anglers getting into the sport, I figured, it's probably a good time to talk about, the reality of the financial situation that you're going to be facing in tournament fishing. And I always want to, cast things in a positive light in the sport because there's so much positivity. If you decide to focus on the negative, you can find a lot of negative within the professional fishing, space, but there's also a lot of positive. All right. So to be able to talk about that positive, I also need to talk about sort of the reality or the negative, if you will, about tournament fishing these days. And I want to do this for the young anglers out there that are looking to get into this sport to make a living, because I think that there's a huge misconception as to what this business actually is and what your job is as a professional angler. So we're going to get into that, but first off, let's look at the winnings from this year and also some of the expenses that were incurred and what that looks like on a fairly decent year cash and checks. Now, I didn't make any top 10s. Now, top 10 payouts were really, really good this year compared to anything below 14th place. I had a 14th place and only netted around $400, and that was here on my home lake. So anytime you get below the top 10, it's not really looking good as far as making a profit. But let's get right to it, talking about the dollars and cents. Get a drink of coffee first. All right, let's get to it. All right, so this year, again, made 5 checks, and those totaled $16,107. I'm pretty happy whenever I make a check on the Opens because it's not an easy task. But here are all the expenses that we're looking at, okay? As you can see, the first line item is the entry fees. They're $1,800 per tournament for 9 events. That equals $16,200, and we're not even breaking even on that. So $93 away from breaking even on just the entry fees alone. But the entry fees aren't even the biggest expenses that you incur in this sport. Really, the tournament expenses are going to be bigger pretty much every single time. And I budget around $2,500 per tournament for my tournament expenses. The reason $2,500 is because that seems to be kind of my best average for, being moderately frugal. I'm not going to lie. As of late, as you can tell, I like food. So I probably spend way too much on food. I probably need to go back to like top ramen, cup of noodles, eating mustard sandwiches, which I'm probably not going back to mustard sandwiches. That was kind of a dark period in my college tournament fishing days. But, peanut butter and jelly and stuff like that. We're probably going to have to start getting a taste for the less expensive stuff this next year. But yeah, that includes food, travel expenses, boat gas, a little bit of tackle, lodging, all that kind of stuff. $2,500 is what I average it at. But, there's probably more than that, and all these are just estimates, okay? And these are just some of the expenses. So this isn't even give you a snapshot of all the expenses that are related with tournament fishing. So anyways, $22,500 for that. Then you've got the boat. So the boat, against popular belief, I don't get a free boat every single year. I have to pay for my boat, and I do an interest-only type loan through my bank, which is something that for you guys, if you're looking to flip a boat every single year, it's a good way to keep your monthly premium down. Mine is $6,000 or around $6,000 for the year, and then truck is around $8,600. Now this right here, I cannot wait to stop having to pay, but unfortunately for the foreseeable future, you just put so much mileage on these trucks that you constantly have to buy new ones. So I don't feel like I'll ever not have a truck payment, unfortunately. But this truck, I'm probably going to run into the ground, and hopefully they say that diesels will last forever, but nowadays with the SCR systems, I'm not even so sure about it. But hopefully I won't have a truck payment in 2 years, and I can maybe have a year or two without paying a truck payment. But the reality is you've got all of these things you got to pay for, and then that doesn't even include insurance or your at-home expenses, paying for your mortgage, paying for your family's food, paying for all those things that are related to your at-home life. So right here, just kind of a snapshot of the tournament expenses. We're at $53,300. This is a dramatically lower number than what it is. It's probably closer to $60,000, but just for this, example, we're going to use that. So if you end up taking this negative $53,300 and then you add this positive $16,107, you come up with a negative $37,193. So at surface level, what does that tell you? Tournament fishing is not profitable. Okay, that's what a lot of people will say. Okay, but let's look at it in a different light. Number one, tournament fishing is my passion. Okay, I love tournament fishing. I'm an addict of tournament fishing. That's what I love to do. So I'm probably gonna do it regardless at some level. All right. But what tournament fishing is the way I look at it is it's an investment in my overall business model, okay? Tournament fishing is a great way to get exposure. It's a great way to build a fan base. It's a great way to promote products and sponsors. And so it's a really good way to overall promote the sport, okay? But it's not the only way to do it. In fact, it's becoming less and less valuable over the last, especially the last 20 years. It's completely changed. So on that note, 20 years ago, if you look at tournament fishing back then, or even later than that, really all of the sponsorship dollars, all of those marketing budgets that were in the sport endemically, so all the different fishing companies were going to tournament anglers, to tournament organizations, and some TV, some radio, and some print, which includes online. Okay, so that's just kind of the basic kind of basket of where those marketing dollars were going to go. Okay. And so back in the day, tournament anglers were just by default the influencers in the market. They were the ones that were going to dictate what products were going to sell. They were the best at being able to promote those products. And when somebody won using a certain bait, that bait was going to fly off the shelves. Okay, so that sort of thing. Nowadays, what has happened is you still have all of those different media outlets as before. You've still got tournament organizations and tournament fishing. You've got television, you've got radio, you got print. But now you've also got Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, more online stuff, YouTube, all of those things, Facebook, all those different social media platforms where anglers, not just tournament anglers, but just everyday fishermen can build an audience and they become the influencers. So now you've not just got influencers in tournament fishing, but you've got influencers, just the average angler, which, a lot of tournament anglers will look at and just be like, well, gosh, it's all this social media's fault. But I think it's a good thing that you've got influencers on social media because they are promoting the sport. They're out there, doing the work, building audiences and really supporting people in this space, teaching people how to getting people excited about fishing and teaching them how to do it better. That's, if you guys have watched videos on this kind of topic before, that's exactly what I think is the most important thing to remember your business description is, your job description is to get people excited about the sport and teach them how to do it better. And by doing that, you become an influencer, you become a voice for the sport, and you help guide people to the right decisions and to buy the right products and all that sort of thing. So I guess in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is that the sport and this career path really has changed. And so if you're getting into this sport as a young angler, you need to realize that although tournament fishing is definitely our passion and it's something that we want to continue doing, and there is a lot of value to tournament fishing, like most of my sponsorships that I have require me to fish tournaments to be able to, get paid. And that's great. Being a tournament angler has value to them because it's a way to be able to promote their brand and their products. Okay, so there's value in tournament fishing, but you have to look at tournament fishing as an investment or bonus money. When I make money, I make a profit tournament fishing, it's all bonus money. I don't ever assume I'm going to make a check in a year. I pretty much always do make a check, at least one check in a year, but I never assume that I'm going to, because you never know how a season's going to go. So tournament fishing is not a profession. Tournament fishing is an investment in the overall, job that you're doing in your career, which is promoting the industry, the sport, and the products and services and the brands within that sport. Okay, so if you're looking to get into this industry and make a career out of it, here's some suggestions. First off, you've got to focus on building value first. Try not to get too wrapped up in looking for sponsors right off the bat. I understand it's really expensive, and that getting sponsorship is really it's really attractive because you can save some money and get some product maybe at a discount or something like that. But focus on building value. And what I mean by that is build your audience. Start working on your social media, start putting content out there, start getting people interested in what you're doing, and try to make sure that it's focused on helping people do better out on the water. Don't be tight-lipped, really be generous with your knowledge and share that. And if you do that over time, it'll start coming back to you. You'll have an audience and you'll be able to go to sponsors and have a little bit of leverage to be able to start getting paid in this deal. So start off slow, but really early on focus on, building your skills out on the water, obviously, but primarily as far as the business side, build that audience, build that value. And at the same time, don't get caught up in going into debt. Don't put that pressure on yourself early on, okay? Live within your means, compete within your means. If that means fishing the BFLs or occasionally fishing some opens or fishing as a co-angler, do that first. Okay, don't buy a brand new truck because you think you need to have a cool brand new truck. Don't buy a brand new boat because you think you need to buy a brand new boat. Do it sustainably, keep your overhead low. And when I say low, I mean as low as you possibly can keep your overhead, okay? And then as you start making money, try not to fall into the trap that I've fallen into many times where you start spending too much money, because anything can change. This is a career path that, your sponsorship portfolio can change every single year. So just keep your overhead low, start out slow, and just build your value. That is the number one thing that I think is really, really important for you. And then finally, just make sure that you understand what the job is. It's not tournament fishing, because that can lead to some really, really bad years and lead to going into debt. But it's more than that. It's all about building the sport and just sharing the joy of fishing with others. That's basically what it is. But anyways, guys, those are some of my thoughts. I know a lot of people have different thoughts on this, but I am dead set on this line of thinking. Tournament fishing doesn't look great on paper, but professional fishing is a great way to make a living. It's hard. It really takes a lot of creativity and it takes a lot of work, but it's very, very rewarding in the end. So anyways, guys, I want to hear what you have to think about this. So drop a comment below. And if you have any young anglers that are interested in tournament fishing, consider sharing this video. I think it can be very, very helpful for their overall growth in the sport, and may change their mind as far as what they want to do within the industry. But hopefully not. Hopefully it actually encourages them to pursue a career in this industry. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. I'm going to see you out on the water, and make sure you trust the process.